another. What we do have in the top right, we have Chemless, or yes, Kevumless. Kevum? Anyways, best name against Draco. Not Draco, not Drake, but Draco. He will be our blue Terran in the bottom left, and we will see what he can do against Kevumless. This will be a battle of the ages. We will speed this up just a bit, seeing what they go for. Hopefully, even if this is assumed to be Bronze League material, they do know when to build simple buildings. Kevin going for the 9 depot instead of the 10 right there. That's just a small mistake. We're not going to assume too much. Very, very early scout though. Neither player, or well, Kevin is walling while the blue Terran is not, which the wall would actually be better for blue since he does have that extra, or that spot, that spawn favoring a add-on on the Barretts if he did throw one down. This SCV was sent to scout and does not want to. He's deciding to check the third base instead. You definitely want to see if Terran is taking that double command center by the 2-minute mark rather, and he will not see that. He knows he is not fighting that greedy of a build, but anyways, coming into the blue Terran's base, red, he wanted to finish the wall off and then do the Barretts. Is he? Oh, he's doing both at the same time. Okay, for a second there I was very worried that he just left the Barretts. But anyways, this SCV, they're poking each other. That looks a little bit homo, but we're not going to talk about that. This SCV running for his life, being poked in the butt. But maybe there he goes, poked so hard, he went too hard and didn't make it out. Another Barrett's going down for this red Terran. Neither player getting gas or command centers at this point though. That shows you that something's up. Both of them not getting orbital commands either, queuing up a total of 3 SCVs. That's definitely not how you want to spend your money. More of these SCVs being made as well. He throws down another supply depot, still no command center or gas for either player. We could just see a mass of Marines, but neither of them will be producing those just yet. The Barrett's coming down from here, so basically the same build, but Draco ahead a little bit in supply. And from that, we see that he is just going to make more and more Marines. Going for the expansion at the 4-minute mark with no gas on 2 rats with no orbital. I'm not Korean, but I'm thinking this is the way to go. We will see if his build brings him any sort of fruition. Other than that, Red's just mining. He's got the gear in the rear. He's got the he has gear in the rear. Let's just worry about that because he was getting poked over here by the other SCVs. We don't need to know about his personal life, but that's neither here nor there. Other than that, this command center is about halfway done. Nothing else really going on at this time, sadly. The production tab should be a lot more full, and definitely should be another command center in that red production tab, which we will see here soon, sending the SCV out just a tad way too early. Hopefully he builds that right on time. Looking at his camera, he's not there he goes. There you go. Had to make sure you're placing it correctly. Don't ever want to move that too far away, even though the Terran buildings can fly. So it is not that big of a deal as a Terran player. Finally, the first gas of the game is taken at 540, showing you that he does want to tech up, or at least tech up faster than his opponent here. A lot of SCVs being transferred, still no orbitals in the game. Who needs scans when you can just have a nice round building? Those satellites getting in the way of the view. They want to stargaze, they want to see the world, they don't want to see machines. So they will not be making that orbital command until just now after I leave, but it will be at the natural. At least it's not a planetary though. That's what we can be happy about. Let's hope he still is just going to have SCVs queued up here. He probably forgot about it and was trying to make 2 orbitals at the same time. That is something that does happen, but at least most people do know to cancel those SCVs or not queue up that many at the same time. Anyways, we do see double gas taken from the red Terran, but still, he also does not want those satellites in the sky. He wants to keep everything nice. Draco trying to call things out on live, so if we know if he loses, then it is due to his connection solely. No other cause, and because he is playing darn perfectly for his level. But another Barrett's was just finished up by red. That is a lot of Marines. I don't know why he's going back here. They want to check on the SCVs, but other than that, they don't really have a purpose to be back here. No drops coming in, no Banshees coming in, nothing. We do see a factory finally coming out for Red, though, using that gas that he has been saving up. Both players on a decent amount of minerals, and if you are floating as Terran, usually you want to throw down another command center. But it is always best to have that macro going, and he does need to start more supply depots if he hopes to keep this production up. And the biggest thing here, time and time again, will be the fact that he has no gas, and it is 8 minutes in the game. I don't care what race you're playing, what build you're going for, you definitely need gas before the 8-minute mark. Let's see if he just masses Marines all game, though. I remember complaining about that when I was a Protoss in the lower levels for the time that I was down there. So if he can do that and beat his Terran opponent, who will have just Marines with a few factory units possibly, then that will be good for him. Draco ahead actually by a good 15 supply, been constantly producing. He definitely has his macro going, but his Terran opponent will be starting 2 Stargates. We'll see what comes out of those. I would assume Medevats to go with the Marines, but we don't know what's going on here. We don't know. He's unranked. He doesn't even know what he's doing, I'm going to say. Getting the combat shields before the stim, even though he probably won't be going for any form of timing push, especially since there are so many Marines out here. The Marine count is actually probably more important than the worker count. Both of them, however, favoring Draco at this time. And if he just moves out with these Marines, he could do a lot of damage to this natural base, which is still only a command center. He doesn't want an orbital command, doesn't need an orbital command except for the one in his main base. So I guess we see a flip-flop from the blue only getting it in its natural and the red only getting it in his main base. Regardless, more barracks and supply depots being thrown down, still no gas in sight. He doesn't want that gas. It's not good for the environment. These Marines on that move command, and there they go, finally attacking the command center in the worst possible spot. What are you doing? You need to get those out there, firing on you from the high ground, stealing so many kills. The SCVs acting like they're on a planetary fortress defending against some form of Zerg attack, but instead, they only have this group of Marines. These Marines finally coming out of the base, and so many have died for no reason. But the thing is that Blue is on such good production on his how many barracks. He has a total of 7 on the field, and 8th one now just finishing up. 8 Marines at a time, even if they have no upgrades, is a force to be reckoned with. But these Marines will move across the field. They will have that combat shield upgrade as well. But Stim, they don't want to do drugs. They're drug free, but will they be able to handle this many Marines and 8 more at a time? Oh my god, he's just adding 3 more barracks to this as well as a 3rd base. And I don't know why he's taking so many bases if he's only using the minerals at each base too. But we'll see what he can do. A medevac is on the way that will definitely keep his Marines alive even longer. That combat shield will give them that extra health, and since there are no upgrades, still no gas in sight, and it is nearing 12 minutes for the blue. He will be at a disadvantage the longer this game goes on, even with that many Marines. The Hellion coming out here, which it will do a decent amount of extra damage, doing a total of 14 to those Marines every time it fires, and it does have that line of fire attack. More Medevats coming out. He, instead of having reactors here, he decides to go for 2 starports. More buildings, the better. Employing more of his workers, more buildings, more jobs, but that's neither here nor there. Stimpak on the way. They have thrown away the drug campaign. The war on drugs is over. Haha, political news reference, but that's beside the point. More Barretts on the way. He has a total of 11. He will have a total of 14 on the map, producing only Marines all the time, all day, every day. No gas in sight. Matt's workers at his natural, almost Matt's at his main base. Not in orbital here either, not even a planetary. Too bad he can't afford a planetary just because of that lack of gas. He doesn't need to mine any of that though. He is just going to go for it. Excuse me again, but he is ahead by a total of 50 supply just because of that constant rain production overpowering whatever Red decides to do. And Red will be very afraid of this army if he does engage it because he does not have that stim pack. But one siege tank on a good position, if Blue ever did move out, would take care of any army Red can do, or Red can make. He, instead of fighting back here, he walked into the Marines while they were already in range, trying to let all of his Marines fire, and that's a good move if your Terran opponent doesn't have about 20 times the amount of Marines you have. Red does start that siege tank for the area of effect damage, very good. The Stimpack also will be finishing up here soon. Still 11 Marines being produced, not even using these barracks. They don't need to be used. They're just here for show and tell. But another factory also on the way. He will probably produce more and more siege chains from those. I don't think Blue knows how to scan either. Only having that one orbital will hurt his scan potential as well, so he could go for those Widow Mines from those factories instead. Another one going down. He definitely wants to fight against this army as soon as possible. Blue just has so very many Marines at a total of 147 supply and still has 70 workers, and all of those are on 3 bases worth of minerals. He actually has oversaturation at 2 of his bases, and this base definitely needs more workers. So I don't know what he's doing, what he's planning on doing, but I know that he has 75 Marines to do whatever job he so desires. Moving at different paths, he's going to check both with those 6 Marines on this side and a whole hell of a lot on this side. We will see what he can accomplish. Only one siege tank out, and it's not in siege mode and in a terrible location. Usually you want it back here somewhere, not at the cliff part here, because Marines could snipe that, but back here somewhere by this barracks would definitely be a good spot to see those siege tanks. There goes Blue scanning. He knows what's up. Red, not in siege mode. You don't have to research that even. You need to get that going. You just start both tanks with that siege mode. This tank will go down after a time, and these Marines will all die, so we will see what Blue can do. Still 73 Marines on the field, most of those right here with this army. One-shotting that medevac with a single volley. He definitely wants to stop taking damage. The siege tank will do 50, or a total of 35 per shot, and those Marines only having 45 total health. With that area of effect damage will destroy most of those. This natural actually being taken out, not repairing it, not having that first siege tank being taken out hurt him so very much, as well as losing that original army. Still 13 Marines at a time, all being rallied to the front of the natural base. He has a total of 16 barracks on the field, with a second orbital command was created. Very good on his part. This army was cleaned up. That siege tank has 29 kills. He is the commander of this army. It doesn't matter what the Marines say. They're recruits. Maybe you find a corporal somewhere in there, but still the siege tank knows what's up. He knows how to handle this army, which is basically just sit back and shoot, because the Blue Terran not microing nearly at all. More siege chains coming out because of seeing how effective that one tank was, but at the same time, 29 kills isn't a whole lot when 13 more units are just being produced at a time. Wondering where those other 3 barracks are, because he did have more than what he's producing from. We click on him. He doesn't have anything hotkeyed even. No army hotkeyed, no orbitals hotkeyed, no barracks hotkeyed. Some of the Marines over here, they're probably just setting up some kind of defense, even though if the army came in from the front, that would mean that the Terran army was split, and that is not a good position for this mass of Marines. We still have no gas, again being friendly towards the environment, so friendly that he wants to spread his bases to a 4th and a 5th at the same time, and even another base in the bottom right. He is just all over the map, and now that engineering bay coming out for the Red Terran, hopefully he's getting those upgrades. Those will help him immensely, especially with that stim, allowing him to power through any amount of Blue's Marines. But he definitely needs to move out with these siege chains. He does want to stop Blue from getting way too many barracks at the same time. Of course, Blue is already on a lot of barracks, and these SCVs, they are done for the day. They don't want to do anything else. There's a few in this army as well just joining in. We have a total of 112 Marines on the field for Blue. Still well over twice the amount of workers for Red as well, and Red only on those 2 bases, a 3rd base being made at his old natural. Anyways, we see scan on scan on scan over here. We have a little bit of a trifecta going on. Just to see the amount of siege chains that are still not in siege mode, and Blue wants to pressure this, and I'm not very sure why. You have so many Marines, and if you had stim, you had a few upgrades, you might be able to, even though there's still a hell of a lot of tanks. But when you have no stim, no combat shield, no +1, literally no upgrades, only minerals being spent, you're not going to get very far with this army. But he refuses to get that gas. He refuses to have that mind. Maybe his eco-friendly approach will win him this game. He is moving in here with a total of 128 Marines, and this is going to even kill my computer, which has been fine in most of these games, but with so many Marines on the field at the same time, we just, oh, and they are starting to siege chain shots. The other siege chains are not sieged. What is he doing? What are you doing? You need to get those sieged immediately. Since the Marines are not stim, they are not doing nearly as much damage as they could, but they are going to power through most of these taints on the low ground if they are microed correctly, still taking so much area of effect damage. These Marines at the top, as well as this taint, now at 43 total kills. These siege taints all be turning into sergeants before... No more even going down. A little bit of friendly fire from the commander. He's keeping everybody else in line, even if they are sergeants. The blue Protoss, or the blue Terran rather, still ahead by about 30 supply. And guess what he's making? Marines. Oh yeah, they are going. And there is the gas timing of the gods. He is here. He will get that stim. He will get those combat shields here in a couple of minutes. 20-something minutes. That's nothing when he has this many Marines. It doesn't even matter. He will be fine. And he starts an orbital in the bottom right of all spots, getting even more geysers going down. Where will those be? I did see more geysers going down. At his natural, which is already being mined out. So many SCVs being mined out, or being produced, which is good, but when 15 SCVs are on one geyser and 9 on another, most of those aren't going to be doing anything, I'm going to say. So he definitely wants to use those a lot more efficiently. He does have 3 more bases, which are basically not being used at all, especially this base right down here, not even being made into an orbital or a planetary, and he does have well over 2,000 minerals with a really good income. Actually, that income has fallen off due to the fact that most of his SCVs are being very inefficient in the way that they are harvesting those materials. The planetary at the third base, so he will have a total of 2 planetaries and 1 orbital. Not the best setup, even against this amount of Marines. He did hold in the last attack. He shouldn't be afraid of any more Marine attacks. Regardless, we're just going to speed this up a bit. Blue has started his factory now. That will help him, but there goes the stim. Okay, now this many stimmed Marines will be a force to reckon with. This many normal Marines will die pretty much instantly. So many being produced, though. He's ahead by a total of about 60 supply now, and most of that comes from 93 Marines. Marines and SCVs being buddies for life, that's all he needs, but he is going to start getting even more gas, finally reducing that eco-friendly patch or whatnot to the ground. He is going to start 2 starports as well. Probably not going to build reactors on them because he saw such a great build from his friend who built 2 tech labs instead without getting anything from those tech labs. A Ghost Academy is on the way. I'm not too sure. Ghosts are, they are pretty good against Marines, but... What? A little bit of friendly fire going on here. He doesn't want his Marines to live, it would seem. Maybe trying to get out a few more metavats, so he does want to free up some supplies, but still, that was a very brutal display of power. Not something I would like to be. I would not want to be one of these Marines, especially seeing how they have been handled. Even if they don't have to worry about druds or shields or better guns, they just have to worry about running in there, shooting a few things, taking taint shots to the face. But anyways, we do have this base. This will be the 4th base for red. Is hitting the field. That stim about to finish up, and he will be maxed out here again soon. The blue Terran is in a good position to move out, starting a Banshee of all things. Who needs metavats when you can go for Banshees? And he will even get the cloak. He has the balls to do it. And there is not a single missile turret on the field, and only one orbital command for those scans, so that Banshee might have a very good time attacking these extra bases, taking out the red Terran's economy. More of these being dropped. He doesn't care about the concern of his fellow soldiers, ones being randomly picked off, being told to kill their comrades, something that I would not be too happy about. But any that complain are probably at risk of being shot as well. So they're just going to let the Banshees be. And why does he keep doing this? He queues up 3 Banshees at each base and kills off his Marines and then produces more Marines. There's a bit of an issue there in the way that you're thinking. If you queue up the units, they don't take the supply yet. They only take your mineral count down and your resources down. So if that's what he's doing, then that is the most... That is a very, very bad move, and we'll leave it at that. I don't want to be too mean to the guy. We do have the cloaking started for Ghost, and the cloaking almost about to finish for the Banshees that are on the field. And these will do a lot of damage if they can get into the Red Terran's bases, but instead they're just going to sit with the army, not really sure what they plan on doing. Here they go. The 28-minute Banshee timing is on the way. It will do a lot of damage if it does not run into these Marines. These Marines not even having any upgrades, even though he has so many resources. Hellions also being left, as well as a freaking strike team of Ghost. These taints just being taken out, and this is his plan all along: make taints and then allow them to be taken out, so that way he has no defense. Is this the commander? This is definitely the commander, being hit a little bit but still not being taken out. The other taints are just left there for free. Quite a few kills. And I was hearing other stuff going on. What are they doing? Why? Why are you doing this? What are you doing? He was attacking his own factory, just so very frustrated. What? There's a free base here. What are you doing, Banshees? This hurts to watch at times. Definitely bronze lead material here. I should definitely try to send this into Husky. Maybe get a little bit of viewers myself from this. And I don't think I'll be able to label this as a normal cast, because this is just so far out there. This is just bad. Going to speed this up just to get through this lull in the action. We'll see the Banshees moving out again, straight into the missile turrets. That they know about the Marines being killed for their sake. They couldn't live with themselves. They couldn't live with themselves after just giving up on this base, so they just ended it. They didn't want to live anymore, and here goes the Stim Combat Shield Marines moving in. So much tank fire. And they are trying to get the attacks on those taints, but at what cost? They are moving in here, killing all of Red's Marines very quickly if they actually were attacking them now. And now they're just bunching up. 3 siege taints on the low ground, more on the high ground not being sieged, but there goes the entirety of Draco's army. And if we look at the units, he has 70 SCVs and not a single Marine. And he just leaves. Why? Why did you leave? Why on earth did you leave when you had so many bases? If you just had tech labs and reactors on these, you could produce so much more quickly as well. He had well over enough of a bank to make as many Marines as he did want, but I guess he just couldn't take it. So much bloodshed at the base of the Red Terran. Maybe they're not even supposed to be red. That's just so many blue Marines being splattered about by these siege tanks. 25, 11, 24. We do have the 49 siege tank kills here somewhere. There it is. This blue Terran, he definitely wants to rethink his strategy after that match. But thank you for sending that in, Demon Monkey.